Let's talk about Datorama, but just prior to that, let's cover some of the portions whereby we want to discuss how marketing and how audience and marketing segmentation happens and why do people, do the various types of campaigns. Someone mentioned in his introduction about campaigns. What are campaigns? Why do we create campaigns and why are all these factors coming into play? Which tries to measure what's happening. So if I talk of at least, I'm working for 10 years. So if I talk of the initial period of my career as well, measurement was not something that was very much prevalent. So it was always about creating campaigns or, there's something called an IO that gets signed in this digital world. So it's called an insertion order. When an account manager or a client takes in all the requirements and then they approve based on the plan that an agency or a marketer gives them, and they approve an IO, the insertion order. And when an insertion order is passed, what happens is the marketing teams come into play, the tagging teams come into play, the people who manage stuffs, come into play. And they want to discuss what is the plan and how do we aspire to execute what we have committed. And then, as you all are, from the marketing intelligence team, I believe, or the analytics team, you are aware, how these platforms come into play, where, by digital and offline, get segmented. And when we talk of digital, there are search, social display, programmatic aspects of business, which are being worked across by people, by marketers, by all the people who are involved in the process. And then there are offline businesses as well, which comes under TV, GMTV and all those parts, TV, radio, whereby we are working with TRPs and GRPs as the measuring tools. For display or for digital. It was impressions, it was clicks, it was CPC, CTRs, which people were interested back in the day. But then what started happening was there was no mechanism of measuring the business or, measuring what is happening and how do I see the change. I believe you will hear this term nowadays about segmentation and attribution. So when we talk about attribution, what is attribution? Attribution is nothing but attributing or crediting a certain element which was involved in my conversion. When I talk of conversion, don't take me wrong about conversion as a metric from any of the source that you have taken into a report or you have worked on, but conversion can be relative. Conversion is different for everyone. For you, it may be a sign up, that is a conversion. For me, a click might be a conversion for anyone else. He might be interested in how many people got converted or how many people made a purchase, maybe a conversion. So when we talk of conversion, we talk of attribution. So attribution is something that is giving credit to the factor that got me the conversion. Earlier in the day, we used to give credit to the last touches, which is basically you go to your click to the buy option and you buy it. So they tell that, okay, this person came to my page, he bought the product and that is the element which brought in the conversion. But we used to not take care of the other factors. Like you get your views from paid channels, all these advertising. A person comes into play. So when a customer comes into your page and you see the like, it's basically the part of the sales funnel. It's part of the marketing funnel, sales funnel, whereby a person comes in, he kind of like awareness, consideration and conversion till conversion, whatever happens. So measurement is something that is being considered as a very vital part in today's generation, today's scenario. You see the job landscape, you see the working landscape, you see the way people are attributing the factors and doing segmentation analysis. Salesforce Datorama evolved as a mediator to help know a customer from unknown to upselling. So when I talk of unknown, I don't know you or you don't know me. But tomorrow, if I have a mediator which helps me convert my unknowns to a potential customer, and by what? By all the marketing factors that you put into play. You get an unknown person to from unknown, you know the person and then he becomes your potential. He or she becomes your potential customer. And then you go for a first-time purchaser to an existing customer, and then you go ahead with reference, cross-selling, upselling and all those brand lifting, all the other factors involved in the business, which basically helps converting more customers, getting more customers in, and so on and so forth. You know the journey. So the Salesforce Marketing Cloud was involved in this entire process. So, in this fragmented world where we are today, we want to always know. Like you know, it is performance plus impact plus loyalty growth which basically takes us forward. It is no longer a market for impressions and clicks. It's no longer a market whereby impression or clicks or spend becomes the last thing that you will take into consideration and will infer any kind of conclusion that you know my campaign or my channels or my account is doing perfect right. Previously it used to be in that manner. So why do people create, like you know, so many campaigns? Why do people create the various segmentation? So when we talk of a brand, say let's take a brand called anything X, and then they split themselves into regions, then they split themselves into campaigns and then they invest the budget allocated for each campaign to all the channels that you see in there. And in this fragmented marketing world, you keep on spending in various channels, and because various channels are evolving. You take 10 years back. You see the marketing tools available to you. Versus today you have like. Every day, I see a new tool coming up, telling that this is going to measure more, this is going to give you insights more. This is meant for your optimization and, simultaneously, the sources as well. Every source is trying to come up with their advertising model. Everyone is trying to come up with a CPC model whereby you have a cost per click. Or then you know sources like Twitter or platforms like Twitter have started promo tweets. So all these are marketing activities whereby an advertiser invests right. When an advertiser invests in this entire plethora of marketing tools available to them, they basically want to somewhere like you have. Okay, so you have come up with a social. Okay, we want to spend in social. Social only involves Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, so on and so forth. And metrics have changed as well. Tweets, retweets, swipe UPS, all these have come as an individual metric that is being considered in marketing, and these factors are contributing towards the success of it. These factors are contributing towards if the marketing solution or if the campaign is successful or not. Now, in this process, when you come across, say, an advertiser which is spending across 5 social channels, they are spending across Google AdWords, say Bing ads with Yahoo, and then going ahead with, say, LinkedIn ads as part of social. Sorry, I forgot that as well. They have. Programmatic has evolved now. So programmatic is something which we will discuss someday, but that's another interesting part of the business that is hugely. I'm sure you guys have worked with data from Trade Desk and stuff. But then when you have like 5 channels of search, 3 channels, 4 channels of social, you have display, you have programmatic, you have offline, and then you have, like your planned data coming from tools like Prisma. You are working with delivered metrics from remote or and so on and so forth.